So we had a lot of news dropped into our lap today. The Walmart app was a goldmine of information in relation to what's going to be happening with the Transformers Cyberverse series and toy line going into 2021. Now, this is a warning in advance. Some of this information will probably going to fall into spoiler territory. So if it's something you don't want to be surprised by, I probably suggest you maybe should skip this video. But this is, it falls into that. I like to use the term spoiler toy lines, meaning like you have toys that are in the toy line that lead to being spoilers for fiction. So it can't be helped. Probably you're going to see this stuff at one point or another, either it's the toy aisle or otherwise. But let's jump into it. We have a whole bunch of listings here, courtesy of Walmart, and it's going to give us a strong indication of the theme and everything moving forward for the Transformers Cyberverse Season 4. Up to this point, all we've known is we have 2 TV movies coming, and they're both Dinobot related. And no surprise, a lot of this seems to be Dinobot related with the themes. So let's jump into that. The first listing we have here is Transformers Cyberverse Ultimate Season 4 Hot Rod. Hot Rod up to this point has had quite a few toys, a lot of them being base molds and then repainted into black repaints. He's practically almost had everything at every scale, even the legendary deluxe scale. But one that he didn't have is that of the ultimate scale. And the ultimate scale, for people who aren't familiar with how Cyberverse is, because it's a little different than what we're used to from our generation / Earthrise trilogy stuff and everything. The ultimate class is kind of a leader class in size and slightly cheaper in price point, but at the end of the day, it's more simple in design and kind of lays heavily on a gimmick, if anything. And of course, they don't go into scale with anything else. They really are a big gimmicky product that you give to kids. And that's kind of what Cyberverse really has been as a line as a whole, is just gimmicks and scale be darn. It's just, let's have a Bumblebee that's, 12 inches tall and has a glowing fist or something. That's kind of how it works. Going on that also, we have Cyberverse Ultra Class Season 4 Sludge, our first Dinobot here. The Ultra Class is also kind of similar to that of the Ultimate. It's a larger but simple kind of figure. In the case of the Ultra Classes, they kind of fall into that 3-step kind of gimmick, meaning like they're very easy to transform, 1, 2, 3, and they're done. So Sludge, the Dinobot, is probably going to be relegated to this. I really hope that it's not his only figure. And if it is his only figure, I just hope this really turns out well. Again, the Ultra Class is kind of Voyager scale, I guess. To also give an indicator, going back to the Ultimate scale Hot Rod, the last Ultimate that we had was that of Iaconus. That was like the last one. And so if you see that in stores still hanging around, it'll give you an idea of how tall those are from a leader class perspective. Then we have 2, and this is kind of good, 2 Deluxe Cyberverse announcements. The Deluxe scale has kind of been the go-to for a lot of us collectors that enjoy the show, and we have 2 new additions here. The first one we have is Deluxe Class Season 4 Slug, aka Slag the Triceratops, so that's awesome. We have 1 at least. And then the next one, and this is the really exciting one, Deluxe Class Season 4 Cheetor. Cheetor was a big player in the show, late Season 2, Season 3, and I mean, I even talked about this on one of my streams. Like, I picked up that really overpriced, silly Spark Armor Cheetor that came with the aircraft carrier and everything, because I firmly believe that might have been the only Cyberverse Cheetor toy we're going to get. My goal kind of with the Cyberverse line is getting one figure of the best representation of each character in that line. So if the best version of certain characters are a crappy scout class, I got to kind of go with it because that's all there is. But this is great news because this means that Cheetor is going to finally get a decent toy, because that Spark Armor one, skip it. It's not a good toy. It really isn't. Very little paint apps. Kind of has a weird spring in the head, leads to it looking very kind of ugly. It's just not good. So this is great news. Awesome stuff. Hopefully there'll be more Deluxes announced outside of these 2. But the way that the case assortments for the Deluxe classes have been recently is sometimes they're a case of 4 for 1 figure, or a case of 8 for 1 figure, like RC or even that of Thunderhowl. So it wouldn't surprise me if a case of 8 is 4 Slugs and 4 Cheetors. So wouldn't surprise me. But hey, that's pretty cool. Looks like there's going to probably be no Build-A-Figure either. They dropped that idea. Kind of a shame, but it is what it is. Cyberverse Ultra Class Season 4 Ramjet, another example of a character that really only had one toy, was kind of a little bit of a major player in Season 3, and that one toy that he had was just garbo, just not good. It was a Scout class. And for people that are familiar with the Scout classes with Cyberverse, they're not like the Scout classes that we celebrate when it comes to Generations or even the movie stuff. The Scout classes in Cyberverse don't even have an alt mode. They have like a half alt mode at best. And so the Ramjet that we had previously as a Scout class didn't really have a jet mode. Just had the robot mode, and that's really it, and some kind of gimmick, which is the name of the game with Cyberverse. So having the Ultra class, while he'll probably be a little bit out of scale as an Ultra class, which is kind of a Voyager, at least he'll have his alt mode, and at least, because it's the Ultra class, the budget for the paint applications will be slightly better. So this will probably be the best Ramjet toy up to this point, even if he might not scale well with the other figures. But to be fair, the Scout class probably wasn't a better example either. Now we jump into our first spoilery kind of figure. We have Cyberverse Ultimate class, so again, that leader kind of scale. Season 4 Volcanicus. So this is falling into, oh, hey, we're probably going to have Dinobot combiners. I probably am going to take a guess here because it's the Ultimate class and how simple they are. It's going to be the combined mode of all the Dinobots, but it probably won't come apart to make separate transformable robots, considering how simple the Cyberverse line is, let alone that ultimate price point. So it's probably going to be a giant kind of semi-transforming or half-transforming combiner mode Dinobot. That's the assumption. Assuming that the name is associated with its lore from all the past history of Transformers, which has been Dinobot combiners since that of Combiner Wars. That's what it's going to be. Again, we have a big Dino theme here, so that's what I think. But unfortunately, don't get too excited about it being able to combine at an Ultimate class in a box here. I just have a feeling it's going to be a gimmick-laden kind of combiner. Could be wrong. I'd like to be wrong on this, but I'm kind of worried that that's not going to be the case. Now, speaking about assortments and combiners, we have two different assortments with no names of the individual stuff in the assortments, but we do know they're coming. We have the Cyberverse Roll and Combine assortment, which from what it sounds like the Crash Combiners from Robots in Disguise 2015, which where you had two figures in their alt modes, and when you kind of crash them together, it would cause an auto flip kind of gimmick, and they would combine and then make a giant robot mode, like Optimus and Strong Arm is one example. So that's what they kind of sound like. And then we have the Roll and Transform assortment, and this kind of sounds like the auto rollers from G2, where you had you had an alt mode, and if you had the tab switched in a certain way when you would roll the figure, the wheels would cause it to stand upright and auto transform. Could be that, could be also similar to that of Runabout and Runamuck, could be a pullback feature, we don't know, but it's some kind of roll and transform assortment. And then our next kind of also spoiler here, we have a Transformers Dino Optimus Prime. Now, this is funny because in Rescue Bots, we had this huge gimmick where Dinobots were a thing and everyone had a Dino alt mode, and Optimus Prime became a T-Rex. And so it's not the first time we've had an Optimus dinosaur. This starts kind of with Rescue Bots. But then I look also at what's going on with all this combiner stuff too. It's funny how Robots in Disguise 2015 and Rescue Bots were two series that were running alongside each other back in 2015, 2016, 2017. And it's funny that all the combiner gimmicks of the Combiner Force that was in Robots in Disguise 2015 and the dinosaur gimmicks of Rescue Bots, both of them are being funneled into this and combined together, no pun intended, for Cyberverse. So I don't know if it's bankruptcy of ideas, but it's all here now. We got a lot of dinos and we got a lot of combiners. So it is what it is. Then we got some other assortments here with no information. We have the Dinobot Defenders, whatever that is. Maybe it's all the other Dinobots. Same thing, the Dinobot Strikers. Maybe it's the other half of the Dinobots. And then the last one we have here is from the BotBots perspective, but still keeping with the dinosaur thing. It's probably going to be just the flavor of 2021, and it's the Transformers BotBots Dino Store. a play on dinosaur, so it's the Dino store. And it's probably going to fall into that assortment of the 10 packs that are shaped like some kind of item, whether it be a box or a toilet bowl or whatever. So it's probably going to be some kind of store, and you're going to get a whole bunch of little transforming bot dinosaurs, probably based off of the little dinosaur toys that kids would have back in the day. So that's it, more or less. Again, a lot of information here to unpack. A lot of stuff going on, some deluxes, some ultra class, some ultimates, a whole bunch of different assortments of combiners and auto flip. Again, the thing with Cyberverse is it's very gimmick laden. That's just what it is. And so some of this stuff might turn out great. Some of its stuff might be passable, but at least it gives us an idea of what we're going to be getting going into 2021 with this line. We still don't have any images or information in partake to these 2 TV movies, but these listings here really do confirm at least the characters we're going to be getting and the direction that the season 4 will be. If it's going to be 2 TV movies or a legitimate full season 4, again, it's all really up in the air outside of what we found through little listings and stuff like that and what we have to break down. But at least it's something to be excited about. I mean, when you really think it, at the end of the day, all we have is comic books right now for our new Transformer fiction. We just came off of a Netflix series that was not received well by a lot of fans. So to have at least another TV series, and whether it be the Cyberverse one and the Bots one that's supposedly coming, a movie that we're still in the air on what's going on with that, at least it's good to know something that's happening in the future of our brand here. Transformers is a huge brand, but 2020 and 2021 have just been a weird year. No really reason for the big V and everything. It's just been a weird year to try to figure out what's going on for the future of the brand in terms of fiction and lore and all that stuff that we consume that really makes us enjoy this product. So let me know what you think about all of this. It's very interesting. Hey, new Hot Rod toy, pretty cool. New Cheetor toy, new Ramjet, Volcanicus, probably not a combiner, but we'll see what happens.